Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that equip you to thrive in change, the change that you planned and wanted and longed for, the change that you didn't see coming and hit you like a tidal wave. Both ends of that spectrum, you can find the principles that you need to be resilient in the face of all matter of change. And I'm delighted to be able to share it with you. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. We are talking about the Thrive Principle, Bring the Honor. Hashtag Bring the Honor. I was recently at the Maxwell Leadership Conference in Orlando, Florida, and my mentor and friend, John Maxwell, said again, as he has said so many times, and every time he says it, it just touches my heart. He said, "We are Maxwell leadership coaches. We are people of value, adding value to people. You are a person of value and you can add value to others. And that is the heart of hashtag bring the honor. So that's tonight's Thrive Principle. Hello, Philip. Glad to see you here. Anybody else who's jumping on live, I invite you. Drop your name in the comments and share what's on your mind and your heart as we explore tonight's topic. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you're here as we explore it. Missy's here too. Yay. I love it when I see people saying hi. If you've never commented during a Sunday Night Live broadcast, all you have to do is click to comment, and StreamYard will ask you if you want to give permission to use your profile and your Facebook profile and your name. Say yes, and you will be on your way to being a participant in Sunday Night Live. So thank you for being here. One other thing, I do not want to go any further until I tell you that you can go to get a discount on the world's best coffee that is worth every penny if you didn't get a discount. If you go to thumbroastcoffee.com and use the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE, you will be able to drink the same coffee I drink every morning, the coffee that many of Sunday Night Live listeners drink because it's delicious. And you also have the benefit of having it sent right to your mailbox, and you get 15% off when you order it at thumbroastcoffee.com. What is not to like? It is a lot better bargain than driving through your local big bucks coffee shop, for example, and you have the ability to make it right in your own home. Sit down at your table or out on your deck and really enjoy it, because that's what I do with it. It's my special thing in the morning. I encourage you to go check it out. I encourage you to use that coupon code. I encourage you to treat yourself to the best coffee you'll ever taste. All right, let's get started with tonight's topic. Let me get my notebook here. And we are going to get started. And I I was only partly kidding when I was creating the title for tonight's broadcast. I called it Generosity, Good Intentions, and Growth. Generosity, Good Intentions, and Growth. And Carol's popped on. She says hi, and she's got to order the pumpkin spice. That's something else that I should have mentioned, is that they have a delicious seasonal pumpkin spice blend that will knock your socks off. It's fantastic. So make sure you give that a try. And now's the time to order that. You order it now, you'll be able to enjoy it for all of fall, and you'll be able to even get enough so that you can serve it to your guests at Thanksgiving. It's just got such a great fall atmosphere to it. So highly recommend. Carol, yes, get some pumpkin spice. All right. Tonight's broadcast is titled Generosity, Good Intentions, and Growth. You may have heard this phrase. I have heard it for my whole life. And it is, well, it's blunt, you guys, but it's true. It says the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Did anybody else's grandma ever say that to them? Because my grandma did, and I'm pretty old now. So it's been around a while. Good intentions. And then I kind of dropped a little tease in there. Some of these phrases, have you ever said anything like this? Have you ever said, if I had the money, I'd donate? If I had the money, I'd donate. Or how about this one? If I had more time, if I had more time, I'd babysit for that single mom. Right? But I just don't have time. Or this one can be tough. If I knew what to say, I'd go to the funeral, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And I will flat out say these can be very poisonous phrases. And I want to explore why. It's not just, Missy said them. I have too. I have said them. So when we're talking about generosity and good intentions and growth, I'm going to take you just on a little bit of journey. We'll get to growth at the end. Let's talk about generosity. Is it generous? Is it generous to say, if I had the money, I'd give? Is it really? Is that the definition of generosity, that somebody's willing to give? Or is the definition of generosity that they actually do? That might be up for debate. But I can tell you a little story about myself. So many years ago, my husband and I attended church faithfully, and we gave at church faithfully. We gave a designated amount and we gave it faithfully. And I felt really good about that. And just full disclosure, I probably felt a little too good about that, as we will see. And I was at work, and somebody came up and asked if I wanted to donate to the Combined Federal Campaign. And basically, what the Combined Federal Campaign was an opportunity to designate as little as $1 per paycheck. So that would have been $26 a year in my case. It was an opportunity to say, I want to give $1 a paycheck to a charity that I got to choose. So I could give on Focus on the Family, which was a charity that a broadcast that I listened to all the time that was on the list. I could give to the March of Dimes. I could give to the United Way. I could give to the American Cancer Society. I could give to Feed Hungry Children in Africa. There were hundreds of options. And a very kind, very enthusiastic person came to ask me if I wanted to donate $1 a paycheck, $26 a year, to a charity that was on this list. And they would even take it out of my paycheck so that I didn't even have to make any effort. And I looked at her and said, no, my husband and I give already to cause, so we're good. And I felt very justified in that. I felt like a generous person. If I wasn't already giving to all those other things, right? I'd be able to be generous to this, but I can't be. And we're generous enough. Now, I'm not here to say, Jerry Holland Ministry says, you gave faithfully. Yes. Just for those of you who don't know, Jerry Holland from Jerry Holland Ministries was my husband Ken's and my pastor when we were just newly married. So it was more than 40 years ago. So he knows us. He knows us, the warts and all, before we grew, you guys. He knows us. So I said, no, I don't want to give $1 a paycheck to help a charity that is on this list because I give enough. I'm generous. And if I didn't give already there, I'd give more, but I'm fine. Fast forward the next day, I was standing at the local 7-Eleven. I have my Big Gulp cup, and I'm filling my Big Gulp that I got every day on my way to work. And Big Gulps back then were 99 cents. And I heard this voice. And you guys, I think it was the voice of God. It didn't sound like a real voice in my ear, but it was a voice in my brain, in my heart. And this is what it said. You spend $365 a year on soda pop. That voice was right. I had told a person who invited me to stretch myself, to start giving in a manner that I had never given before, to start being generous in a way that I had never been generous before. I had only ever given through church. And this was new to me. And it was a stretch and an opportunity for me to grow in the ways that I could be generous and impact the world. And instead of saying, yes, I embrace that opportunity, I said no. And then I had to have God give me a lecture at a 7-Eleven because I spent over $350 a year drinking pop and it wasn't good for me. You guys, it was like the lights came on. All of a sudden, I realized, oh my goodness, here I am feeling generous, and I'm not generous at all. I'm not generous at all. I'm making excuses for why I can't be generous, in this case, with my money. And when I got to work, I sought out that woman and I said, I am going to sign up. I am going to give $1 a day, $365 a year, filled out my paperwork, and I told her, if I can't afford this, I'll just stop drinking pop. It was that simple. I knew that there was a way that I could meet that commitment, but it required me to stop patting myself on the back for being generous and actually do something about it. So is this resonating with anybody? Because now we're going to talk about stuff that's not just money, right? Well, actually, I'm going to tell you one more story because this one's powerful. Somebody went to my husband, Ken, this is many years ago, and asked to borrow $500. And my husband regretfully, but firmly refused. He had lent that kind of money in the past to this person, and the money did not get paid back. And so he didn't feel like he could responsibly lend this person any more money. And the person was shocked and appalled. You're not going to lend it to me. Well, I'd lend it to you if I had it. And my husband said so wisely, here's the thing. You'll never be able to lend it to me because you'll never have it. A person feeling so generous, right? I'd be willing to give it to you. But the problem was they never had it to give. And that's where the poison comes in, okay? That's where the poison comes in. Because when we convince ourselves that we don't have to give anything, we don't have to share anything, we don't have to stretch ourselves, it is a very quick step to then feeling like we're the ones who have the need. We're the ones who have the need. When we are in a position of true generosity and we are actually giving to people, sharing of ourselves with people, when we're doing that, we are reinforcing the message to ourselves that we have enough. And when we refuse to give from what we have, we are reinforcing the message to ourselves that we are the ones who are the victims. We are the ones who are in need. And we stop seeing ourselves as powerful. We stop seeing ourselves as able to make a difference. Can you see how quick that jump happens? Me congratulating myself, I already give. I can't afford to give anymore. We are generous in our gifts through our church. So I don't need to consider giving anywhere else. congratulating myself, refusing to extend myself, stretch myself, to consider maybe I didn't deserve all those accolades I was piling on myself. Maybe the reality of my situation was a little different. Generosity, good intentions, and growth. Having good intentions is not the same as actually doing the thing. That isn't just the case with money, although it happens all the time with money. We sometimes hoard our time. We convince ourselves that we do not have enough time. You guys have heard me talk about this. We have the same amount of time as the President of the United States, as Oprah Winfrey. We have the same amount of time as Queen Elizabeth, Nelson Mandela, as the person who heads up your favorite charity. We have the same amount of time. We all get the same amount of time. So when we tell ourselves that I'm a very generous person because if I had time, I'd go help that single mom. Let's back that up. I'm seeing some hearts and some thumbs up. Let's back that up. Saying that if I had the resources, I would be generous. If I had the time, I would be generous. If I had the money, I would be generous. If I had the words, I would be kind and encouraging to that person who just lost somebody or to that person who's sick and in the hospital. The scenarios are endless, but the common thread is this. The poisonous part is that we have everything we need right now to do the next thing we need to do. You have right now enough money, enough time, and enough knowledge to impact your world. And if you allow those poisonous thoughts to dominate the way you choose to share yourself with others, you are going to start to shrivel and you will start seeing yourself as the person in need, not as the person who has the ability to meet needs. Making sense? Carol agrees, and she says, my mom used to say, we have to be good stewards too. Exactly right. As was the case when that person asked Ken, can I borrow $500? We weren't going to be helping that person by lending it, and we weren't going to be helping our bank account by lending it, and we were going to be robbing somebody who would put that money to good use from an opportunity to use it. Stewardship is such an important part of this. So knowing stewardship is a part of this, the most important thing that we are a steward of is the gifts that God has given us, the strengths that we have, the people in our circle of influence that we have the ability to impact every day. And you can feel generous because you tell yourself, you know what, if I had more to offer, I'd be a better leader. But when you say that, you're building your excuse for not investing in yourself to become one. It is not generous to say, you know what, they should have promoted me at work, but the boss was just afraid I was going to put him to shame. Actually, no, the boss was afraid that you were going to ruin everything because you had no leadership skills at all. The poison seeps in. Yeah, I'm not going to do the work. I'm just going to act like I've got all this stuff that I could do, but nobody wants it. That's why I don't give it. Excuse after excuse after excuse. You guys, I don't want this to sound negative. I'm usually more positive than this, but trust me when I say this is a positive message. At its core, you have gifts, talents, skills, ability. You have money. You may not have $1 million to start the home for single women, but you've got the ability to prioritize your schedule and help out a single mom. Take her up to the store and buy her a few groceries when you're buying yours. What would happen if you did that. Feeling like I would be generous if I had means is not generous at all. It's a big fat excuse. We cannot use that as an excuse. We cannot use the fact that we don't have something for not filling a need. I'm going to say that again. We can't use an excuse that we don't have a resource to say that's why we're not filling a need. Because the fact is, we can gain the resources we need to gain to do the things we feel like we need to do. You guys, I'm talking straight. I am talking straight. Missy says this is important. Carol says this is important. Missy says, and so good. I agree. It is good, Missy. She says, what can we step into today? And I think she's got more to finish in that sentence. That will. So fill us in, Missy. What was the rest of your thought? What can we step into today that will? I know how I'd finish that sentence. What can I step into today that will allow me to grow in my capacity to help and serve others? Ken hit it on the head when he was talking to that person who wanted the loan. Don't say that you would lend it to me if you had it, because you and I both know you'll never have it. That person was building a life at that time that ensured they would never have it. So they would never have to give it. Isn't that convenient? And I invite you to examine your life. Where are you refusing to grow? Your finances, your use of your time, your ability to lead others, your ability to teach, your ability to encourage. Where are you making excuses and refusing to get good at it because you actually don't want to do it? And if I was good at it, I'd have to do it, right? That was always the saying at I was going to say my work, at the career I had for 31 years. I had several people over time come to me and tell me, oh, I'm not going to learn how to do that because then they're going to expect me to do it. They refused to learn so that they didn't have to be generous. They didn't have to raise their expectations. So many reasons why, when we decide to hoard our money, our talents, our gifts, our abilities, our caring, our love, so many reasons that it's poisonous. So many reasons. Philip's got a take on that, right? When I lend money, I do not expect to give it back. I do not expect to get it back. Exactly, right? What a great approach to take. If I'm giving it willingly, but when somebody says they're going to pay it back and they don't, what does that say about their character? What does that say about their ability to #bring the honor? So none of this is cut and dried, you guys. None of this is where you get off of the podcast and you say to somebody, well, Shannon says I've got to start giving money to everybody who asks for it. And no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I just was overwhelmed with this idea of the excuses we build why we can't be generous to people and how really detrimental it is to us. When we decide we can't be generous, we often don't even try to grow because we have already decided there's no use. We can't. We're not going to be able to be bigger than we are now. I'll never be able to give more than I give now. What a wonderful flip side to that coin when we start saying, well, it's true that we cannot give what we do not have, right? And some people's strategy, this is the poison part, some people's strategy is to just never have it, so they'll never have to give it. They might not even realize that, but that's how they live their lives. I would give it if I had it, but I'm going to make sure I never have it. And that way, I don't have to give it. A life and a mindset of lack. Missy clarified a bit what she was trying to say. She said, taking ourselves out of the equation and bringing the focus on serving and impact. Yeah. My focus when I was invited to give $26 a year to charities that served me. Like I mentioned, Focus on the Family. I gained much knowledge from Focus on the Family. I enjoyed listening to it every day on the radio. And here I was offered an opportunity to support something that added value to me. And I was resting on my generous laurels and telling myself I just I couldn't afford it. And of course, I could. When we convince ourselves that we don't have to give anything else and we don't want to give anything else, we start to shrink. And that shows up in every area of our life. Missy says, I may not be able to give fill in the blank right now, but what can I give to invest and grow in this area? That's powerful, you guys. That deserves some thumbs up and some hearts right there. I may not be able to give fill in the blank right now, but what can I give to invest and grow in this area? Start with what you have. Start with what you have. You have everything you need right now to do the next thing you need to do. Are you feeling a pull that you want to be a leader? Maybe you want to get promoted at work. Maybe you want to start a Bible study. Maybe you want to start a mastermind group similar to the Livestream Leadership Program. Maybe you want to run for office or be on a committee on the PTA. The list goes on and on and on. The poisonous excuse says, I don't have time. I wouldn't know where to start. Those are poisonous excuses that will suck away the beauty of your dream and the beauty of your calling. But when you are able to say, like Missy said, no, I can't be I can't get a master's in social work and be a counselor tomorrow. But I can make a call to find out what are the first steps? What does that path look like? And start investing in that area. If you want to grow in the area of being a charitable giver, start giving. Start giving. If you want to grow in the area of being an encourager, start encouraging. And if you don't know what to say, buy a greeting card that already says it and sign your name, Love Shannon, and send it off. Do something to start growing in that area because you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't intentionally start making sure you've got the resources that you need to be able to do the things you know your purpose is calling you to do, you're going to be old and shriveled up. You'll be the victim instead of the victor. You will have hoarded the gifts that God gave you specifically to share and use because you allowed poisonous excuses. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I can't. I don't know how. Learn how. You have enough. Start small, but work toward that thing and watch the abundance start to bubble up in your life. Carol says this, Kelsey talked about Luke 6:38. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. It was powerful. Yeah. When we give, when we recognize that our gifts, our talents, our finances, our time, all of those things are resources that we steward, and we are able to share those intentionally, not lying to ourselves that we're generous and then making the excuse that I just don't have it to give. I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to do next. You're not generous. That's not generosity. Good intentions don't create results. Good intentions don't create results. What brings results? And everybody says in capital letters in the comments, action. Action brings results. That is the antidote to the poison, my friend. The poison of the excuse that says, I don't have enough. I don't know how. I can't. And then continues that cycle so that they never will. The antidote to that is action. Take an action. And Missy said it so eloquently. Take an action in the area where you want to be an impact, where you want to have impact. Take an action in that area and watch what happens. Abundance gets unlocked in your life. And the more you have, the more you can give. Not focusing on ourselves so that we can hoard it and sit on it and never share it, right? But being people of honor who say, the more I have, the more I will be able to share and the more I will be able to impact. And we can become a river, not a reservoir. All right, with that, you guys, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging. I encourage you to share this with somebody that you care about. Let them know that Sunday Night Live is here and it is an opportunity to get some of that growth so that we can be more to the people that we serve, the world that we are in the midst of. We can be a force for good. We cannot do it if we do not grow. And this is a great opportunity to grow. You guys have proved it over and over. I love seeing you here. I love hearing how you're growing and what you're doing. And I know that as we continue to share this message, our world becomes a better place. You have everything you need to do right now, the next thing you need to do. You've got it. You've got it. And when you share this message with others, it empowers them to do the same. Carol says, thank you for giving your time tonight so we can grow. Mwah, you are welcome. And Missy said, needed this tonight. Thank you. You are welcome. I needed it too, you guys. I needed it too. I'm speaking to myself in so many ways. I want to make sure that I have something to give, that I don't just keep going to the pantry until it's empty and then I've got nothing else left to share with you. As I invest in my growth, take time to learn, to grow, I'm committed to sharing that with you, being that river. And I encourage you to do the same with the people in your life. One of the ways you can do that, hit share and tag somebody and say, hey, have you heard this? I thought of you. You're so talented. You're so gifted. Whatever you do, connect with somebody, encourage them with the words that have encouraged you. Keep the ball rolling. All right. Last word's going to come from Carol tonight. Such a blessing. Rereading the Treasure Principle book that you gave me by Randy Alcorn. If you have never read the Treasure Principle, you guys, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. It talks about financial generosity and financial gifts and financial growth. And it is a powerful, powerful scripturally based book. So for those of you who are interested in the biblical approach to finances, The Treasure by Randy Alcorn is a great one. Carol, thank you for reminding me of that so that we can share it with the rest of Sunday Night Live. All right, you guys, mwah, take care. I love you. Goodbye.